What's up, nerds? My name is Steve from Flipping the Nerd. I am here with JM the Flip, and this is Avengers Age of Ultron spoiler cast. Spoiler being the operative word here. So if you haven't watched Age of Ultron, do not continue until you have, because we are going to spoil the shit out of it. This is no holds barred. We are going to talk about all the elements of the film. And hopefully, if you've seen it, you can come join us. Comment downstairs, down here in the comment section, and tell us how you felt about the movie and about the points we're going to talk about.
And if you are too lazy to go to the movie theaters to go watch Avengers: Age of Ultron, or if you feel like you're not going to be renting it when it comes out on TV, feel free to watch, because we'll be rooting all the punchlines for you, and you'll be able to brag at work.
That's right. So we just came back from watching Age of Ultron. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, in a nutshell, it was fucking awesome. But really, was there really we weren't worried about that. I mean, we knew it was going to be awesome.
Absolutely, man. We've been talking about this for, 2-3 months now on a regular show. We've watched the trailers. We've talked about the trailers. Now we got to see the real thing, and it did not disappoint, right? No, not one little bit.
Absolutely. So, let's start from the beginning. So, the movie starts, we are in, I think it's Yugoslavia or Serbia or
Kosovo, the town, but Eastern Europe.
Yeah, in Eastern Europe, and they're going after Loki's scepter, which was one of the main points from the first Avengers movie, and they're still hunting it, and finally they pinpoint it, and this is where, if you've seen the trailer, they have that crazy shot of all the Avengers like charging forward in that kind of what I like to call trailer porn shot. Yeah. It's just meant to excite you, and we get to see all the Avengers just rock house. I mean, we see Iron Man doing his moves, and Captain America, and all of them. They all have their like little kind of 30 seconds of a moment. A couple of the Avengers also do moves together. We see a lot of Captain America and Thor.
Absolutely.
And it really brings the pace of the movie up right at the beginning. You know, there's no messing around. It's like
right off the bat. I mean, the movie starts and it's action-packed right off the bat. As Steven stated, they don't hide any Avengers from the get-go. They're all there, and they're all going after that scepter. And you're sitting in your seat. You figure for an intro, you got about 10 minutes of. You figure they're going to introduce each character for about 10 minutes. That's not the case. It's right off the bat, boom, let's get the scepter. You see all the Avengers, and it's sick. Just pure entertainment.
Yeah. Now, one of the complaints I had heard about the beginning is that they don't really explain why the Avengers are back together. If you watched the movies in Phase 2, in Iron Man 3 particularly, Tony Stark decides that he no longer wants to have the Iron Man project. He doesn't want to build new Iron Mans, but all of a sudden there's new Iron Man guys in the movie. So how did that happen? We don't know. We just don't know. They just kind of throw it in there. It's like, oh yeah, well I guess at some point he decided that there should be Iron Man guards again. But it doesn't matter. Yeah. To me, I know they cut a lot of stuff out of the movie because it was just too long. Maybe they do explain it, but if they put time to explain it, it would have been too long before we got to see the Avengers kick ass. So I was fine with it.
Yeah, me too. I mean, the less talking, the better. I mean, at that point, the way it starts, you understand what's going on. Unless for those Iron Man drones, I mean, but that's a small detail. It just adds to the whole scene anyways, right?
No, exactly.
I mean, so yeah, no. Less talking is better, especially in the way they started this movie.
Exactly. And I always saw the Avengers as being, it's like a video game or like wrestling. You have all these weeks of build-up, which are in this, like the different movies, right? So Iron Man 3, Thor 2, those are the ones that should have story and explaining kind of what happens in the Marvel Universe. But the Avengers should be the final fight, the one where shit hits the fan and it's all action with some bits of story to move it to A, conclude Phase 2, and B, start Phase 3. But I was happy with the way it began. We also get introduced to Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver.
Yeah.
We had seen him very quickly in the end credits scene in, I think it was in Captain America Winter Soldier that we saw him for the first time, but this is where we actually see them. in action. How do you feel about the portrayal of Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch?
Okay, now that being said, I didn't watch any of the Captain America movies, so I hadn't seen them. I don't know if it's the exact same characters.
What a shame.
Yeah, he's been busting my balls about that. But that being said, I had a pretty good idea. It was when I saw them we were dealing with Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, just because I know my Marvel. You're talking about a supersonic speed fellow and his twin sister that has magical powers, that has Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch written all over it. Now, I know their background in the comic book world, and I knew that's what I was dealing with. I just wish they would have made it more evident. Because for people that don't know much about Marvel, that just got onto this hype and went to watch this movie, they're still going to enjoy it. But they're not going to know who they're dealing with based on what was offered. Now, the movie was awesome, but I would have introduced Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver in a bit better way. But Steve explained to me the reason for that, and that's because of owners' rights, right?
Yeah, exactly. So Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver have a unique right issue. They are both Avengers and part of the X-Men world, being Magneto's kids and stuff. So both Fox and Marvel/Disney owned the right to them, but in different ways. So the way that they were able to have these characters in both films is, in the X-Men, they're not allowed to say that Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are part of the Avengers. In the Avengers movie, they're not allowed to make any references to them being mutants or being Magneto's kids. Mm-hmm. So the way they did this in the Avengers is they're called miracles. So Baron von Strucker, which I thought would be a major villain, but appeared for like 5 minutes at the most, and then gets killed. He basically took the scepter that Loki had and made Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. So maybe there's more to that later, but in this movie, that's all you need to know. It's these two people they call them enhanced a lot, as the term they use in the movie, but they still have the powers that they do.
Yeah.
And Quicksilver in particular, if you watch X-Men, they kind of took it differently. In this one, you really see him go fast. Whereas in the other one, they show him more into slow-mo and how it really works. So I thought it was a unique... I liked him. The accents I could have gone without.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I like accents, don't get me wrong. Like, it really pissed me off when Rogue was American and not, like, that Southern American that she has. But if the accents aren't... They're pushed, because I don't think that Elizabeth Olsen or Aaron Taylor Thomas, I don't remember his real name, they don't have that accent. They're not Russian.
No.
So it really felt forced and didn't
The accent
work.
was bad, but nevertheless, they're still very good in the storyline. The way that they use their power, the way they acted the part, it's good. That's just like I said. If you don't know who Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch is, you'll still enjoy these guys, but you'll never learn who they are by watching this movie.
No, exactly. So that brings us to the next scene, where we see kind of the Avengers having fun. At the same time, we see Tony Stark and Bruce Banner kind of creating Ultron. But before that, it's kind of a lot of jokes. They're at a party, which I'm sure you've seen before if you watch any of the trailers or some of the sneak peeks. They have fun with Thor's hammer, which was a really good scene, I thought. It's really funny, especially to see Thor's reaction to Cap moving the hammer. Because no one's supposed to be able to move the hammer. And he kind of gives a look like, oh shit. Because, of course, in the comic, Cap does actually hold the hammer at least once. So it was a cool scene. A lot more comedy in Avengers 2 as opposed to Avengers 1.
Yeah. But that's too expected with the cast that they have, right? I mean, they're good actors, and Robert Downey Jr. can smirk with the best of them. So it was funny parts amidst action.
Oh, exactly. The party was cool too because they got to reintroduce other characters like War Machine and the Falcon that we don't get to see too much in the movie. So it's nice to know that they're actually around because it makes sense. Like, why you always wonder why wasn't War Machine part of this? Because if Iron Man is out, where's War Machine? Like, they're super good friends. Yeah. So this kind of explains it. Same thing with Falcon. He's super good friends with Captain America, and you saw that they were together at the end of Captain America. So where was he? Well, this explains. Okay, well, he's there. He's just doing his own thing. So I like that. And then we got Stan Lee's cameo, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Funny as always.
Usual.
Yeah, funny as always. So let's move on. Ultron's created. in this movie by Iron Man and Bruce Banner, with absolutely zero mention of Ant-Man or Hank Pym, who created him in the comic.
Of course not. That was to be expected.
And going on that, we don't hear anything about Ant-Man or Hank Pym.
No, they don't even exist.
Nope. Which is weird because the next movie is Ant-Man in Phase 3. Well, I think they said this is technically Phase 2, but anyway. Doesn't matter. It's the next movie on the MCU. Not even a slither of a mention, which I thought was a little weird.
Yeah, so same here. I actually thought of it when they were creating it. I'm like, well, we're probably going to get a reference at least to Ant-Man or the character. But none of that was made. Absolutely not. It's as if Ant-Man never existed. They make it out to be a purely Bruce Banner's and Tony Stark's invention, based from a computerized invention of Tony Stark. But I mean, that's another thing, though. In this movie, you'll hear a lot about Bruce Banner, a little less about the Hulk. But that comes down to us seeing War Machine and the Falcon only for a brief instance. I guess you can't fit everybody in at one point, anyways, right? Like sometimes they probably figured that too much is just like not enough. I don't know. But
they'll come to play later in our discussion.
Oh, I'm sure.
After that, so we got Ultron created. Really cool. I like the way Ultron was. James Spader had awesome as the voice of Ultron.
Didn't he? Didn't he not? He was awesome. Ultron, I liked Ultron as well.
I thought Ultron was different than what I expected. I really expected Ultron to be ultra serious and very poetic, but he had some jokes in there, and he was like, he seemed like just like a normal dude who had power, which is to really caught me off guard a little bit, because I guess I had this vision of it, but I liked it. You know, it showed, it made it more interesting.
Yeah, basically, what you're saying is that you look at Ultron as a character, you don't get the sense that he's a cyborg at all. Right? Like, he thinks on his own and he speaks on his own. He gets emotions. He's sarcastic. He's very, very well played. I would have. His suit is all right. His suit is, well, it's Ultron. I mean, it's metal, right?
Yeah.
I would have made his face maybe a bit different, but the one that they have now it's great. It's very nicely made. I would just have made it maybe a bit different, more authentic to Ultron.
Okay, I like the way it looked. Honestly, I knew it was Ultron. You know, there's no doubt. And when I have doubt in a character, that's when I tend to veer off. When I know, okay, I look at him in the picture and I know automatically, okay, that's probably Ultron. So I liked it, but they also had to make it that it came off of one of Tony Stark's inventions. So it had to have a little bit of Iron Man in there because it had to make sense with the story that they're telling.
Of course, yeah.
Then we move on to Wakanda. So Wakanda being where Black Panther's story is going to be, and bringing into the story, is it Vibranium? That's
exactly it.
Vibranium. We don't see Black Panther. No references to Black Panther, but we are in Wakanda, and we know that this world and... the name of the villain escapes me, but we do see the villain. What's his name? That's going to bother me.
The guy that lost the arm there?
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's right. I'll put a picture of him so you can see him. That guy, he's the one who is probably going to be the villain in Black Panther, and so it was cool to see that. But this scene was less about setting up Black Panther's movie, more about showing Scarlet Witch's power of bringing like people's kind of demons out. So we saw Black Widow, how she became Black Widow. You know, she got kind of tortured as a kid, all that stuff. Then we saw Captain America with a blatant Agent Carter, cameo.
Yeah.
But more importantly, we saw Thor. Which I think we saw Ragnarok, which is Thor's third movie that's coming out. He sees that something really bad is coming. And later on in the movie, and we can talk about it now since we're on the subject, he actually goes back to explore it because he wants to see what those visions are to prepare for it. And what his vision is that Thanos is going to get the Infinity Gauntlet because we see the Infinity Stones starting to form in a gauntlet. Now, Thor in this movie is the only one who knows what that is. Whereas you watch Guardians of the Galaxy, they already know. But in this one, he's the only one who knows, so he knows shit's about to go down if someone does get those Infinity Stones. It felt a little forced to prepare for Phase 3, but still, it's a nice way to explain that, yes, the Infinity War is coming. And that's what this movie's all about. It's about building robots to help Earth defend against whatever's coming, and we know what's coming is Thanos.
Absolutely, you can. Well, yeah, we'll talk about that coming up. But I mean, this is seriously just a gateway movie to the Infinity War. Thor. Speaking of Thor, I loved him in that movie. I thought he was very, very, very good. I'm not a Captain America fan. He plays good. He plays his part good. But Thor is really, really awesome. You really get to enjoy what he brings to the Avengers in this movie. In particular, throughout this scene where they all get their heads played with.
Yeah.
Thor's the only one that really deals with it. The others kind of they just kind of heal up and move forward.
Yeah. Now, one of the scenes that really shouldn't have surprised me, but did anyway, was the fight between the Hulk and Iron Man. Now, I knew this was going to be good, but I figured I'd seen most of it in the trailer. It's one of those things that they kind of hyped up in the trailer. But, man, this fight was way longer than expected, and I loved every fucking second of it.
Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic scene. Probably one of my favorite ones of all this movie. Now, I've said previously that we see a lot of Bruce Banner, a little less of the Hulk. You see Hulk. I love the Hulk, and you see him at the beginning of the movie fighting with the Avengers. He just smashes through everything, throws bodies right, left, and center. And then you go down onto Bruce Banner, and then eventually we get to this scene where Scarlet Witch played with the Hulk's head with Bruce Banner, which turns into the Hulk. And then Hulk just goes on a rampage attacking civilians. All the Avengers, they're all messed up because of Scarlet Witch, so the only one left is Iron Man. And obviously Iron Man can't fight a crazy Hulk all by himself. So he calls upon Veronica, which is his super gear. And he becomes ultimate Iron Man.
Yeah, with the Hulkbuster armor, and
wow,
it was awesome.
Wow. At one point, you got Iron Man just repeatedly hitting Hulk on the face, going, "Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep," and it's just an awesome scene, man. Awesome scene. Wow. And if you don't get to see the Hulk a lot, but when they do show him, they make it count.
Yeah, and he again steals the show with this fight. And like I said, I knew it was in the film. I knew it was going to be something big, but I really thought I'd seen most of it in the trailer. But man, was I wrong? And I'm glad, because the trailers didn't end up showing a lot of it. Ironically, there's a lot of the movie that I found the trailers didn't show.
Well,
I like that. Yeah,
but what they did with the trailer is very good. I mean, they brought us to the seats, but this movie has so much more to offer than the trailers. The trailers are awesome, probably some of the best trailers we've ever seen. Me personally, anyways. But it really held up to that. This movie's awesome. This scene is a part of it. Why?
Yeah. So then we move on to what I like to call the Avengers start fighting within each other, and they're all moody, and they go on a farm, which was a surprise because you see Hawkeye's wife and kids, which you didn't really expect Hawkeye to have. And that was a theme throughout. Hawkeye really had a big role in this movie, and I liked it because he had such a shitty role in the last one. You know, he was possessed by Loki most of the film, and he actually makes fun of that because Scarlet Witch tries to possess him. He's like, "No, I'm not going through that again. Like, fuck you. I'm going to be in this goddamn movie."
No kidding, eh?
And Hawkeye really steals the show in this movie. He has a lot of great scenes. It's nice to see him with his family. It was something surprising. Yeah. And then you start to see where Civil War is going to happen. The next big Marvel movie after Ant-Man, you start to see the division between Tony Stark and Captain America, and you start to see where Thor's going to kind of play into that. And they bring back Nick Fury, and it was a nice scene. It was a little long, I found, at the house there. You know, they could have moved that along and maybe not cut out other scenes.
Well, that's the scene of the movie where they accustom you to the characters, because you don't get to do that at first, right? It's just fully action. There you get to see the chemistry between Bruce Banner and Scarlet Witch as well develop.
And Black Widow.
And Black Widow. I'm sorry. Yeah, Black Widow. Scarlett Johansson. That's why I went.
That's right. Yeah.
Wow. Hawkeye, as you said, has a bigger role. I liked him in the movie a lot. I was, but yeah, you're absolutely right. It did drag on, but I guess you had to do that because they have to get the people connecting to the characters as well. Yep. It can't always be about the superpowers. They got to give you a brief moment of of downtime for you to connect, and that's what they did with this farm scene.
And then that brings us to the final fight slash the Vision. So basically, Ultron's plan is to build the perfect body for himself using vibranium and using the Mind Gem, which is one of the Infinity Stones that was inside Loki's scepter, which a lot of people knew was in there because it made sense with how Loki was using it in the Avengers. So first of all, what do you think of the Vision? When first Ultron obviously doesn't succeed. Vision gets Jarvis's kind of DNA in there instead. So we have kind of Jarvis personified slash, this new character, the Vision. So what did you think of the Vision and his role in the movie?
I knew they were presenting, they were introducing Vision in this movie, and I was looking forward to it. That being said, from the get-go, initially, I wasn't a big fan of him. But I mean, as the movie goes along, the end result, because we're going to talk about another scene, the end result of Vision, in the end, I end up liking him because the character develops. But initially, at first sight, I wasn't too sure.
Yeah, I just like the way he was presented. The Vision is a really powerful character. Yeah. He was created by Ultron in the comics, so that was really cool. I didn't find him as powerful as they said he was, though. The way they plug him is he's going to be like the most powerful being on Earth.
No,
it didn't seem that way.
No, well, they can't.
He gets his ass kicked like pretty quickly by Ultron.
Absolutely. No, but Vision is a powerful character, but he's got powerful powers, but he's not one of the most powerful characters. If they're going to go that way and say, okay, well, we're going to do a movie and Vision's going to come to life and he's going to save the world, and if they would have went that way, well, that would have left a serious flaw for the following movies. Right. You can't put Vision too powerful.
Well, Vision's going to have to die.
Well, he's going to.
Well, he has to, right? Because he has an Infinity Gem in the head.
There you go.
We know that Thanos is going to get the gauntlet with all the Infinity Stones, so someone's got to break his head and get the Infinity Gem out of it.
Absolutely.
So there you go.
Well, I think in Marvel history, there's been 2 Visions anyway, so.
Right, so they might try to rebuild him, but without the Infinity Stone, that's possible too. So let's get to the big fight. A lot of action goes down here. A lot of Captain America fighting Ultron, Scarlet Witch, and Quicksilver kind of becoming Avengers at the last minute there. We have Hulk, who shows up late a little bit to the party, but when he does a lot of destruction. Same thing with Black Widow.
Now, in this movie, Bruce Banner does not want to become the Hulk, because for all the reasons that we know. But Hulk is there because
Scarlet Witch pushed
Black Widow.
Black Widow. Yeah, we're gonna both fuck it up.
Black Widow pushed. But at that point, we know that Black Widow and Bruce Banner are an item. So she kisses him, and then she goes something to the effect that I love you or whatnot.
Yeah, I need the other guy,
but I need the other guy. Pushes him off a cliff, and there goes the Hulk.
So she literally pushes him into it. I didn't the whole Black Widow Hulk thing. It didn't really interest me too much in the movie. I don't really need to see them in love. They can do that off screen. Not for all I care.
Yeah, I thought it was good chemistry.
Yeah, it was okay, but I could have gone without it for sure.
Yeah.
But the last fight was really cool. Captain America had some really awesome scenes when he's fighting Ultron, kind of on his own there. Thor, a lot more powerful in this movie. He felt more powerful in this movie than he did in Avengers. I feel. Like, he really used the electricity more. He used his powers more. It was nice to see, again, him and Captain America doing moves together and hitting the shield and like...
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, he did it in 3 different ways in the movie. He hit the shield so it flew away. He hit the shield so the vibration would... It was they had a really cool chemistry, those two. And it was a really cool fight. And then just when you think it's all going down, Nick Fury shows up with War Machine and... It was just cool. It was a really cool, big final fight. It felt more epic than the first Avengers.
Yeah.
So, which is you need.
So yeah, the way this all occurs is basically Ultron starts lifting the city of Kosovo up in the air, right? Yeah. And now everybody's stuck on this big floating city. His goal, I guess, is to bring it right up and then have it drop back down.
Which makes it like a comet, right?
Yeah.
Which is, he said, that's what killed the dinosaurs, so I'm going to do the same thing.
Because he wants to restart planet Earth.
Right.
To his own
his own image.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So people are going up, and people are now the Avengers are wondering what they're going to do because they can't throw people off, and there's only so many people that Iron Man can bring down, and that's when Nick Fury and the entire Shield spaceship is introduced.
Yeah, they bring the helicarrier back, which I didn't expect, honestly.
Oh man, that was sick.
Yeah,
That was insane.
Yeah, so that makes a comeback. You see Agent, what's her face there? Colby Smuthers there.
Who?
The girl agent that's always part of Nick Fury's team.
Yeah, she's.
That's gonna bother. Agent Hill. Yeah, because she and that one thing I was really hoping they'd do just to put it all together. I was hoping to see someone from Agents of Shield show up in that scene. Maybe not necessarily Coulson, but at least Agent May or one of the other ones, just to really to show that the shows are really connected.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that's a whole other conversation. But it was cool. It was a great way to kind of end the battle. They, of course, succeeded because almost unscathed. They did lose Quicksilver.
Yeah.
So Quicksilver does die. I wasn't surprised. Were you surprised?
I wasn't expecting Quicksilver to die. See how this happens? That they've taken all the civilians into pod ships that will shuttle them from that floating city onto the helicarrier. And then Hawkeye noticed a little kid stuck in a rumble somewhere, so he steps off and runs to go get the kid to bring him to safety. When that happens, Ultron shows up in nowhere, flying in this jet, and with massive firepower, just shooting at everything that he sees. And at what point, Hawkeye, holding the kid in his arm, is right in the way of fire. And so he kind of just ducks and embraces and waits for impact.
Kind of sacrifices himself, too, to save the kid.
Then little, Quicksilver sees all that and pushes it out of harm's way, but in the event of doing that, he gets shot.
Now, I'm not surprised. This seems to be a Marvel overall strategy to destroy anything that's X-Men, Fantastic Four, or any property they don't own anymore. They're doing it in the comic. They're ending the X-Men. They ended the Fantastic Four. So they probably thought, okay, well, they did Quicksilver and X-Men, so let's kill them off because we can't do it the way we want to anyway. They didn't do Scarlet Witch and X-Men, so let's keep her for now. So if Scarlet Witch shows up in X-Men Age of Apocalypse, she will die in the Infinity Wars.
No, for sure. But that being said, was it necessary? Like they could, because nothing happens. That entire scene was created so they could end Quicksilver. There's nothing else relevant that comes out of it, really.
Right. No,
Nothing at all. You could have very well cut it off, keep Quicksilver, and the story wouldn't have been unfazed.
Yeah, but it's making Scarlet Witch kind of she'll be more on her own. They were two together in that movie. They never want to be separated, and
but that's the way they are.
Yeah, I know, but
comic books and everything.
It's good to we don't need Quicksilver. There's enough fucking heroes in the goddamn world. It's that bad act. We have enough of one bad accent. We don't need the other one.
I guess so.
So the movie ends. The Avengers separate. Hawkeye goes back home. Hulk is flown off to no one knows where.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Man decides that he doesn't want to be an Avenger anymore, so he drives off. So all we have remain, and Thor goes back to Asgard to deal with whatever the Infinity Stones are up to.
He feels that something's coming.
Right, exactly. So he's going back to his own home, his own movie is what
Vision keeps the gem.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Vision. So the gem, which makes sense because Asgard already has an Infinity Stone. So because they have the Tesseract, so there'll be one on Earth, one. So right now, this is where the Infinity Stones are. There's one on Earth, which is the Mind one. They have the Tesseract in Asgard. They have the red mist one, is the Collector that has it, and they have the purple one that's being protected by the Nova Corps. So that's where those Infinity gems are right now. There's still two left. I don't know where they are. I guess we'll find out in the next movies coming up. So Avengers are all broken up, but they have a new headquarters. It seems that Nick Fury is back in charge. Not Scarlet again. Fucking Jesus. Black Widow decided to stay as part of the Avengers. Captain America, of course, he has really nothing better to do than to be an Avenger.
He likes to be the star, anyways, right?
Yeah. So basically, he goes to see Black Widow, and he's like, we got a new team. Let's go see if they're ready. And they go, and we notice that Vision, Scarlet Witch for real this time, War Machine, and Falcon are going to be the new Avengers.
That's a much weaker Avenger team.
Going forward, yeah. Yeah. So to recap, okay, so we lost Thor, Iron Man, Hawkeye, and
Hulk.
And Hulk. So those are the 4 they lost. So replacing them, Vision, who got his ass kicked pretty quickly, but I guess it's kind of the Hulk's replacement.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, but it's obviously not as cool as the Hulk. We have War Machine, which is like kind of the second tier Iron Man.
Yeah.
You know? It's like a cheap version of Iron Man. Then we have Scarlet Witch, which is kind of new Hawkeye, I guess. Or no, let's put her in Thor's category because she has powers.
Yeah.
So Thor, the God of Thunder, or Scarlet Witch, who can like control your mind a little bit. And then we have Hawkeye or Falcon. Falcon is basically Hawkeye, but he flies.
Yeah, no.
Because of the wings.
Hawkeye's Falcon.
Yeah, that's a good trait, I guess. But not, I don't know.
I liked Hawkeye in this.
Yeah, but you'll like Falcon when you watch Captain America. So.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. And that's the way the movie ends. And of course, there's the end scene where we see the Infinity Gauntlet, like just a gauntlet without any stones in it, rise up, which should be, if the movies are to be, they should be in Asgard in the vault that they have in Asgard, because in the Thor movie we see it as they're passing by to get the Tesseract. The Infinity not Infinity Gauntlet is in the background. Okay. So presumably Thanos is in Asgard in the vault and just picking up the gauntlet on his own. And the way I think that would happen is if you watch Thor 2, Loki is now heading Asgard. So he probably let Thanos in to pick up the gauntlet.
And you see Thanos' face perfectly. You see him picking up the gauntlet glove, and he says, "Well, I guess I'm gonna have to take care of this myself."
Yeah, which is a reference to Guardians of the Galaxy, which again you didn't watch. Yeah, so because in Guardians of the Galaxy, of course, he sends someone to get an Infinity Stone, and then he screws him. So
now, did they show Thanos?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, there's a full scene with Thanos, and there's 2 scenes with Thanos in
awesome.
In Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's awesome.
So that's the movie. So overall, what did you think of the movie?
Awesome. I highly recommend it, man. Like, it's everything I thought it would be. Action packed, a bit funny. Great supervillain. The cast did a great job. I would have liked to see a bit more Hulk, but I mean, they made it count when he was there, so good on them. We lost Quicksilver, and I get to see Thanos in the end, and Ultron throughout the movie is awesome.
Yeah,
it's really, really good. You can really connect to the character too. It's not just like a robot that marches with a robotic voice. You know, we're not dealing with a Terminator here. No. We're dealing with something special.
No, exactly. It was a great movie. It didn't disappoint for me. Sure, I can nitpick on things. You know, there's a couple things that I didn't like as much as others, but of course and there's no perfect movie. And I enjoyed it. I had fun. I can't wait to see it again. Actually see, the second time you get to see all those little things that maybe I missed. I'm happy I saw it because now I can fucking stop avoiding spoilers, which is very hard because everybody wants to spoil this movie. But thanks for watching. So those are our thoughts. I'd like to know what you thought of the movie. Just write in the comments below, or tell us on Twitter @FlippingTheNerd, or tell us on Facebook /FlippingTheNerd, or send us an email, flippingthenerd@gmail.com. You can reach me at Stephen Alva Wood. You can reach him at
JM the Flip.
And we will see you
on the flip side.
Goodbye.